Jason Unruhe, political commentator, joins us now from Ontario. Mr. Unruhe, welcome to the program. Let's go through the recent comments made by the Iranian President Hassan Rouhani. He believes that the United States has lost almost all of its credibility in the international arena.
Well, I would certainly tend to agree with this. The United States keeps flip-flopping on what it is that they claim they want to have. They frequently do one thing and say another. They say they're committed to the agreement, then they completely violate it. They allege Iran did not go along with it, and it turns out that they lied about that. I mean, it's very clear. If the United States wanted the JCPOA agreement to go through, then they very well could just return right now and resume it as though essentially nothing can happen. Of course, there would still be much bad blood as a result. I think it's very clear that the United States simply has no credibility on this level because it has a very long history of lying about situations like this, either giving people deals that nobody in their right mind would possibly take, or just simply violating them when they feel like they don't want to go along with it anymore for whatever reason. How many times has the United States violated agreements with the DPRK? How many times have they violated these trade agreements that have been long-standing with many of their own allies, let alone a country that they are engaged in hostilities with, like Iran? So I think that the fact that the U.S. has no consistency whatsoever, the fact that in the past they have been caught lying on many occasions, even outright fabricating entire incidents to justify their position, the U.S. certainly has no credibility.
And the president also noted that the U.S. administration's attempts to isolate Iran have been unsuccessful. I'd like to get your thoughts on that. Elaborate on that for us. There are a lot of countries who may not be able to muster the economic strength to back Iran at this point, but at least morally they all back Iran's stance.
Well, that's certainly the case. Many countries are completely bullied by the economic power of the U.S. into not trading with Iran, which would be very helpful. However, it's very clear across the world that everyone knows the United States has acted dishonestly from day one. Once Trump withdrew from the agreement with us without citing any evidence whatsoever of Iran's violation, and only to turn around later with accusations of a secret nuclear program that were basically laughed off by the European Union and the International Atomic Energy Agency, who's in charge of monitoring, simply said that it was nonsense. The things that were completely out of date, things that they were already aware of, were programs that were, or ideas or schematics or what have you, data that was just simply not in use. I mean, it's very clear that from everybody around the world politically, they realize entirely what the United States is doing in this situation, that they are wholly lying. And this doesn't even just necessarily extend to Iran, but we can see this with the Europeans, with the U.S. stance towards Venezuela as well. They recognize Juan Guaido as the leader of Venezuela, but won't accept any of his appointed ambassadors. Everybody around the world, in one way or another, is well aware of the nonsense of this entire situation. Even when the United States claimed that Iran had attacked the Japanese oil tanker, not only did the political establishment of Japan deny it, but the man who owned the tanker said that the accusation was completely nonsense.
Thanks a lot, political commentator Jason Unruhe, joining us from Ontario.